my family. I'm Dr. Tiffany Crutcher, the twin sister of Terrence Crutcher, and Rev.Al is here at the invitation of the Crutcher family to help us silence hate on this day. And so I'm just honored that he's been here with us by our side since 2016, and he made a promise that he would never leave our side. And every time I call, he's here. He answers the phone. And so without further ado, Rev.Al Sharpton.
Well, thank you. Let me say that when Dr. Tiffany Crutcher called and asked me to come and say some words at the Juneteenth celebration, I wanted to come because we must understand the litany of pain that Black Americans have suffered. And Juneteenth is both a celebration and a reminder, a commemoration. It reminds us that it took almost 3 years after the signing of the Emancipation Proclamation for people in Texas to even know that slavery was over. And even after that, we went through 100 years of Jim Crow and went through periods after that where we couldn't vote. And now we're in the era where we are treated differently, even in a pandemic. The health disparities, the disparities in criminal justice, in policing, and all of this. So the proper place for me to be is to remind us how far we've come and how far we're yet to go and yet to achieve. The Crutcher family is representative of the challenges ahead, and the fact that here in Tulsa, that had the worst massacre of African Americans in history, reminds us that if you can shoot on video and kill a Terrence Crutcher, and the officer be arrested, indicted, acquitted, and then get another law enforcement job in a nearby county, it shows why we want to have the bill passed that would prevent that. There's nothing that shows the brokenness of the criminal justice system with policing than Shelby and her working while this family mourns the shooting that was done and taped right here in Tulsa. The president said that he didn't know this was Juneteenth. Well, he was born and raised in New York. 2/3 of New York is Black and Latino, but he never heard of Juneteenth. So either he's lying or he is clearly exposing the ignorance that he has about Black history. Either way, why are they rallying, talking about Make America Great? I'm going to talk about when was America great? Was it great when we took 2.5 years to tell people in Texas that they were free? Was it great then? Was it great when white women couldn't even vote till 1920? I want him to tell folk tomorrow night, when was America great? Oh, it was great for white men with property, but it wasn't even great for their wives. It wasn't great for blacks and the indigenous Americans. It wasn't great for those that were immigrants. So when he shows up tomorrow, rather than selling wolf tickets to people he calls lowlifes, get up and explain when America was great. What date did that start? And who did that capture? And who did that cover? I'm glad to stand with Reverend Turner, who pastors the church that survived the massacre of 1921. Because it's the church that gave us the faith and gave us the bedrock, and it is that church that will be praying that those even that went against the principles of justice would one day find what is right. We're also going to be praying for those that may be going to the Trump rally that may find themselves ill, because it is ill-advised to be inside. One of the things I asked Dr. Crutcher, I said, this is going to be outside? She said, yes, with all kinds of health, masks and other things with health kinds of warnings. I would not do an indoor rally. But the president thinks that he's above all of that. Now, he'll be calling us nasty names. He will be tweeting something against me because he really wants you to forget about John Bolton. He wants to flip the script. He wants to change his own national security advisor, saying that he tried to make a deal with China to affect the election. So anything he says about us is a distraction. Whatever you say about me, Mr. Trump, I stipulate. Now answer, when was America great? Call me a name, I stipulate. But answer, were you not engaged in a conversation with the president of China, telling him to do things to affect the election? Call me whatever name you want, I stipulate. Answer the question. Because I come to Tulsa to deal with an issue. You should come to Tulsa and deal with the issues of what is going to deal with the real racial history and then healing in America. He's addressed everything but how to deal with the racial gap in this country. He has not addressed it. He has not said it. He has not laid it out. So as you come to the city that there was a massacre, as you come on the weekend of Juneteenth, address your policies of how you intend to close the race gap in America and how you intend to deal with the systemic disparity and how blacks are treated by law enforcement like Terrence Crutcher. Or just admit you don't know how and therefore you're not fit to preside at this time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Do you think Trump is ignorant of the Black American history?
I don't know. He said he didn't know about Juneteenth Day, so I'm not saying what he said. And he said that he changed the day when an African-American friend of his told him about it. He's 74 years old and never heard of Juneteenth. Then he turns around and says he made it popular. I know him Juneteenth all my life. I grew up in the same town he did. Many did. Many maybe didn't, which is why we do need a federal holiday. But certainly anyone that is qualified to be president of the United States should have known what Juneteenth was.
You also say that he's done more than any president for black people in the U.S. What do you think of that?
Are you the opening act? You the comedian tonight? I mean, what has he done for blacks? We're doubly unemployed. We have the highest unemployment rate that we've had in years. There's the health disparity in the middle of the pandemic. You've got 4 major criminal justice cases in the last 30 days. From beginning with Brunswick, Georgia with Ahmaud Arbery. Then you go to Breonna Taylor in Louisville, Kentucky. Then you go to George in Minnesota, Minneapolis. And then you come and you deal with the Brooks case in Atlanta. 4 in 30 days. None of which he did anything but pour gas, pour on the gas on the fire and inflame the country even more. So what does he talk about? Does he mean that we should be happy that we are the victims of more COVID-19 than anyone? That we should be happy we're more unemployed? That we should be happy we're more incarcerated? None of that changed under him. The things that Obama had put in place to deal with criminal justice, consent decrees, a 21st century policing task force, he disbanded them. Our voting rights that we were fighting, that the Attorney General under Obama was fighting for, he stopped all those voting rights lawsuits. So what did he do for us? Why don't he get up in front of his audience tomorrow night and outline what he's done? I'm sure there'll be a huge part of the audience tomorrow night that's black.
So do you think that the country is dangerously divided?
I think the country is very divided. And I think the unity we've seen in this country has been people marching against racism. We've seen more unity and more blacks and whites together marching in the last 3 weeks than we've ever seen at a Trump rally.
What should be the final goal, the final step? Which
Equal protection under the law. Yes. We're not asking for favor.
Yes.
Equal protection under the law.
Governor, what do you think about the hangings, the rash of hangings?
We have people looking into that in California. I talked to a member of the family of both of those that are very much in question.
The executive order that was signed on Tuesday, the executive order from the president on police action, do you think that would be useful?
Well, what did it say? It said that we should have a place that we can document police killings, but he didn't say what we ought to do about it. He said that we maybe should stop chokeholds, and those that do, they'll get rewarded with some federal money, maybe more money. But he didn't say that chokeholds ought to be a federal crime. So what did he order? Us to count? I can give him the count of how many blacks have been killed. I can give a suggestion about chokeholds, but what everybody else gets is law. We don't want suggestions, we want law. What was done to Terrence Crutcher was illegal. It was against the law. What was done to Aubrey was against the law. What was done to Floyd was against the law. I'm here on Friday, Juneteenth. Last Friday, I was preaching the funeral of George Floyd in Houston, Texas. Why? Because it was a funeral that should have never been held.
Reverend, what do you want people to take away from Juneteenth here when they come?
I want them to take away the memory that people kept fighting, abolitionists, black and white, just like black and white are marching now, and they stopped slavery. Even when people got it 2.5 years later. Justice delayed, but they got there. So we can't give up. Imagine you still being enslaved 2.5 years after you knew the proclamation was signed. But they didn't give up. Why didn't they give up? Because they hoped if they held on, that we would have a better day. And we come to make sure we do have that day.
Reverend, what do you think of the governor?
Thank you, Rev.Al, for all that you're doing. Thank you.